Welcome back to Investing Talk Podcast. Today we're taking a close look at NexGen Energy.
That's right, NXE. We've got quite a bit of material here. Analyst reports, company updates, financials.
A detailed due diligence report, too. It's quite a stack.
It is. Our job today really is to sift through all this and pull out the key takeaways for everyone listening.
Give them a clear picture of what's happening with NexGen, especially in the uranium space.
We're looking at their Rook I project, news, numbers, how they stack up against others.
Like putting together a puzzle, trying to see the whole picture of NexGen's potential.
In the landscape they're working in. Is this Rook I project going to overcome the hurdles? Can they become a key player?
That seems to be the core question. So maybe let's start with the basics. What is NexGen Energy? Why all the attention?
Okay, so they're focused on exploring and developing uranium projects up in Canada.
Specifically, Saskatchewan's Athabasca Basin. Right. That area is famous for high-grade stuff.
Exactly. Their main focus, the flagship asset, is the Arrow deposit within the Rook I project.
Which is considered the largest development stage uranium deposit in Canada. That's quite a claim.
It is. And they've found other zones nearby too. South Arrow, Harpoon, Bow, Cannon, lots of exploration potential still.
And the end goal. What are they trying to achieve with Rook I?
The goal is to build it into a major low-cost uranium mine. A global player, really.
Feeding into that clean energy narrative supporting nuclear power.
Zero emission power. And recently they announced something pretty significant, didn't they?
They did. They called it their best ever discovery phase intercept at Rook I.
Which really underscores the potential quality, the high-grade nature of this deposit.
It feels like a big step as they move towards actually producing uranium.
And on that production path, there's also news on the regulatory front. The Canadian Nuclear Safety Commission, the CNSC.
Ah, yes, the licensing. They've scheduled hearings for the project.
That's right. A absolutely critical step to get through before any mining can happen.
Okay, so a lot happening on the ground. How's the market taking all this? Let's look at the stock.
Well, checking the data from around mid-April 2025, the stock was trading somewhere in the $4.61 to $4.68 range on the NYSE.
But the one-year range is pretty wide. Looks like $3.91 on the low end, up to almost $9, $8.96.
That certainly points to volatility.
And the beta supports that, doesn't it? It's listed at 2.02.
Right. So for listeners, a beta over 1 generally means the stock price tends to move more percentage-wise than the overall market index. Higher risk, potentially higher reward.
Interesting, though, despite that volatility, the analyst sentiment seems pretty positive.
Overwhelmingly so, actually. The consensus rating is a strong buy.
And we saw specific firms like Stifel Canada actually upgraded their rating recently.
Which suggests that despite the price swings, the analysts are looking past that, focusing on the underlying potential.
It really does seem like the promise of Rook I is the main driver here.
I think so. They see the long-term value in that asset, even with the market noise.
Okay, so market optimism is there. Let's dig into the financials, especially since they're pre-revenue.
An important point. NexGen isn't selling uranium yet. They're still building the mine. Exploration and development stage?
So their financial reports mostly show spending, right? Investment in the project.
Precisely. You see negative earnings per share forecast for 2025, around -9 Canadian cents.
And historically, net income has been negative too, though maybe some signs of those losses getting smaller.
Potentially, yes, but still negative.
Yeah.
And that price-to-earnings ratio, well, it's high, but maybe not very meaningful right now.
Because there are no positive earnings to compare the price to, really. It's all about future expectations.
It reflects investor confidence in what's coming, not what's happening right now in terms of profit.
Okay, let's talk cash flow then. Free cash flow is key for these kinds of companies.
And as you'd expect, it's been consistently negative. Developing a major mine costs a lot of money up front.
The data shows significant capital expenditures, or CapEx, for Rook It Out.
We saw an estimate for 2025 around negative CAD 198.5 million.
And projections suggest that negative number might even get bigger as the project ramps up further.
That's plausible, yes. More spending as construction potentially gets underway. It really highlights their commitment to getting Rook I operational.
But it also highlights the need for funding. How are they managing debt?
Looking at their balance sheet, the debt-to-equity ratio is around 38.7%.
Which sounds moderate, not excessively high.
I'd say moderate leverage, yes. Total debt around CAD $456 million against equity of about CAD $1.18 billion.
Okay, and return on equity, ROE?
Also negative, which again makes sense. No profits yet means no positive return on the equity invested. It's all part of this development phase.
So what makes NexGen stand out then? Why invest in them versus, say, another uranium explorer?
I think the primary advantage comes back to the geology, that high-grade nature of their assets in the Athabasca Basin.
That region is globally known for rich deposits, right?
Top tier. And high grade means potentially lower operating costs later on, which is a huge competitive edge.
You also mentioned they're focusing on innovative exploration techniques.
Yes, and adhering to environmental standards. That's increasingly important for getting permits and community support.
And then there's the macro picture, the growing interest in nuclear power globally.
Absolutely. That trend drives the long-term demand for uranium. NexGen is positioning itself to meet that demand.
But they do have competition. It's not just them in the basin.
No, definitely not. You have established producers like Cameco nearby.
And other developers too, like Denison Mines.
True, competition is there, but the sheer scale and grade of Arrow is NexGen's key differentiator, I believe.
Okay, let's talk risks. It's not all smooth sailing for a developer.
Far from it. The biggest immediate hurdle is probably that regulatory timeline, getting the thumbs up from the CNSC.
Any delays there could push back their production schedule, couldn't they?
Significantly. And impact costs. That's a major risk factor to watch.
And then there are broader economic factors.
Yeah.
Uranium prices fluctuate. Interest rates affect funding costs.
All true. Macro risks are always present. But on the flip side, the opportunity is huge if they get licensed.
Successful licensing would be a massive catalyst.
It would position them as a key potential supplier, especially with this North American push for energy independence and low-carbon energy.
What about sentiment? We don't have specific social media data, but what are investors likely talking about?
My guess is the chatter is heavily focused on Ricca progress. Those drilling results, like the best ever intercept, certainly fuel discussion.
And the licensing process, definitely.
For sure. We also saw increased institutional investment, the Bank of Montreal upping its stake, for example. That signals confidence from big players.
Although we did see the stock price dip recently. Any thoughts on why?
It could be just broader market or sector volatility. Uranium stocks have been hot, so maybe some profit-taking as well. It doesn't necessarily negate the long-term story.
So looking ahead, the key catalyst is licensing progress.
That seems to be the main one on the horizon. Analyst price targets certainly suggest they see significant potential upside if things go well.
And the downside risks remain, those regulatory delays, or perhaps needing to raise more money through equity financing.
Those are the main ones, yes. Delays cost time and money, and funding a large project always carries financing risk.
How does NexGen compare financially if we look at other similar junior uranium companies?
You see a lot of similarities at this stage, honestly. Most pre-revenue juniors will show no revenue, negative EPS, negative free cash flow.
They all rely on financing to keep exploring and developing.
That's the nature of the business. But where NexGen stands out, again, is that focus on the high-grade Arrow deposit.
And their aggressive drilling program to define and potentially expand it.
Right. That focus and the quality of the asset differentiate them, even if the financial profile looks similar to peers on the surface.
You mentioned that best ever intercept earlier. Could you maybe explain, for someone less familiar with mining, what that practically means? Does it just mean more uranium?
It essentially means that in one specific drill hole, they hit a section of rock that has an exceptionally high concentration of uranium over a notable length or thickness.
So higher concentration and a decent-sized section of it.
Correct. It suggests parts of the deposit might be even richer, even more economically attractive than previously understood. It reinforces the high-grade story and potentially boosts the overall resource estimate down the line.
Okay, that helps clarify. So let's try to wrap this up, bringing it all together.
NexGen Energy presents a compelling story, I think. It's all centered on the potential of Rook.
They're pre-revenue, investing heavily, facing development risks, market volatility. That's all clear.
But offsetting that, you have this very high-grade deposit, positive analyst views, and they are making progress on the regulatory front.
The negative cash flow and lack of earnings right now, that's just part of the process for a company like this.
It is. The absolute focus for investors has to be on them successfully navigating those next steps, licensing and development milestones.
It really does show how complex investing in these resource development companies can be.
You need to understand the company, yes, but also the whole industry, the uranium market, the regulatory hurdles, everything.
We hope this discussion has helped give everyone a clearer view of NexGen and what to keep an eye on.
It's definitely a situation where you have to weigh the risks against the potential rewards.
What really stands out to you personally about their situation?
For me, it's that combination of a world-class asset in a politically stable jurisdiction, timed with this resurgence of interest in nuclear power. The potential synergy there is powerful.
But the execution risk is still very real. Getting from deposit to producing mine is a long road.
No doubt. It requires significant capital in navigating complex approvals. That's the challenge they face.
So a question for our listeners to ponder. Are those potential rewards worth the inherent risks at this specific stage?
Something to think about as you do your own research. And definitely check out their investor relations materials for the latest updates.
Good point. Well, thanks for walking through NexGen Energy with us today.
My pleasure. Always interesting to look at these developing stories.
If you found this analysis helpful, please do subscribe, like the video or audio, and leave us a comment. Let us know if there are other companies or topics you'd like us to explore. We'll see you next time on Investing Talk Podcast.